And believe me, I'll never forget that, because at that time when we went out, they took out so many people from our apartment that just unbelievable. And I somehow, thank God, said, you know, thank God he made a miracle that I knew what to do and my mother was alive. And life was going on like this for me in the ghetto 4.5 years. I mean, 4.5 years. It just again, just impossible. When I think I meet people that survived, I have a few from the ghetto that I knew. And she said to me yesterday, as a matter of fact, I met a woman, and she said, Sally, remember in Auschwitz we were together? And I said, yes, I really do remember. I really do remember. So August 1944, I seen a big sign, and they said, again, we're going to choose the people to go away. And I said, and we were 4 girls that I was friends with in the same apartment. They had 4 mothers alive. And we met in the, you know, outside in the backyard. And I said to them, girls, well, what, is there something you're going to do? You're going to hang around? I mean, and this was a time that already started to clean up the ghetto, because other people were taken away, killed, which we didn't know. And the ghetto was getting smaller and smaller. And they were cleaning out the ghetto from the people and everything. And I said to the girls, what do you think? Maybe we should try to get to away, you know, maybe it's a better life someplace. We didn't know the horror that waits for us. And the girl said, okay, Sally, we'll go. So we went. There were 4 girls, 4 mothers, and me, my mom. And we went to the place, to the cattle train and lodge at the end of the city there. And we went there, and there was 85 people. They took us in that cattle train. And every one of us, they said, don't take any stuff, nothing, just a little bag of something, because you're going to get clothes, everything you're going to get. And each of us got a little bread, like a ball, was like a round little ball of bread. And we got one, and my mom got one. We went on the cattle train, and for 2 days and 3 nights, the train was going back and forth and back and forth. And when I looked around in that cattle train, I could see people slowly dying. Old people were there, children. There was no water, no food. Horrible. On the 3rd day, the cattle train stopped, and I looked out. The doors were open, and I could see a big sign, Arbeit macht das Leben frei. Work makes your life free. I said, oh my God, what is that? And that was Auschwitz. That was the horror camp where they killed people with cyanide, and some of them never see the light again. And I remember like now, I jumped out of that cattle train, and I looked around, and in that train, 50 people died. There were 50 dead people, older people, children, mothers with babies, you know. It was horrible. And when I dropped out of there, I could smell such a horrible smell. And there was a guy with a yellow band, you know, it's probably a Jew that was working. They said to me, who are you? Where are you from? And I said, we're from Poland Lodge. And he said, you see this chimney? That's where you're going, he said, in 2 hours. And the smell is from the burning people. I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget that. And we jumped out, and we stood in line. We stood in line, so that the 4 mothers and the 4 girls, myself, my mom, and Mengele selected us, Mengele. And I was a tall kid, never looked Jewish, you know, and I was sort of a redhead, blondish redhead. And God gave me a miracle that I should do. I looked around, and I could see one side of us, young mothers with children, old people, and here I could see young people, and mostly no children. And God said to me, push your mother this way. And I didn't look at him, my face was sort of down, and I said to my mother, like, I pushed it this way. And at the end of the selection, believe it or not, my mother was the one that survived. and the 4 mothers went right away to the crematoria. They were killed that day. So I knew that if you believe in God, He'll make miracles for you. And that's why I'm here and talking to you, because God made these miracles for me. They took us, they told us to undress, and they shaved our heads. My mom, may she pray for us, looked around. She was right next door to me, next way to me, looked around and said, "Sally, where are you?" She didn't recognize me. My hair were cut. My head was cut right to the skin. I said, "Ma, I'm here, I'm here." And we got undressed, and I put the little piece of bread that I got, the ball of bread, under the mountain of clothes. It was a mountain 3 times as high as this house. And they took us to the place where they gave us that, they washed and all that, See, there were two places. One was the cyanide place, and one was the washing place. It was like what do you call it? Like, to wash us. What do you would call it?
Washer.
Yeah. And we got washed, and of course the people got killed on the other side, the cyanide. And we got out, and we got a burlap dress and wooden shoes. And that was getting already, this was already 1st of September 1944. And they took us to the camps there, And I looked around, I could see electric barbed wires, like I could see it now, like I could see it when I think about it. And people around and looking and talking, and they said, "Where are we, where are we?" So we never knew that Auschwitz was a death camp, because I think if we would have known, we would have killed ourselves before we went there. And when I went to the barracks and I looked around the electric barbed wires, a thought came to me that maybe I should kill myself, because how we're going to survive? But then I had an idea. I said, no, I'm going to try to survive. God made miracles. I'm going to try to survive. And we went to the barracks and gave us one barrack, one above, one for my mom and the 4 girls. And then I said to the girls, I have to run for my bread. And they said, "Where did you find it? How did you going to find it? You put it underneath that mountain of clothes." And again, there was a miracle. I ran there, and I went right to that bread. So I picked up the bread, the round little ball of bread, mine and my mom's, and I took them to the barracks. And I just want to tell you something. When I was in the Catskill Mountains, I went to a gathering of the Holocaust survivors, and this was 1989, and a reporter from the Star was there. And there was a lot of women Holocaust survivors. One of them went over to the reporter and said, "Do you see Sally Rosen? She's the girl that gave us some bread," because what I did, I took pieces of bread and gave to the girls there. And I'll never forget, and I could never forget, because, bread was like $1 million. And I remember there was a big article about me in the Star, what a great girl I was at that time, that I share my bread with the people. And every morning in Auschwitz, about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, there was a Tzei Lapel. Tzei Lapel was, they were counting us, if anybody tries maybe to get away or kill themselves or whatever. And we used to walk out, and we used to see dead people all around the electric barbed wire there, because some people couldn't take it. And that was going on for 7 days. And my mom was just horrible. She was so unbelievable, very, very upset. I mean, critically upset. And then I had an idea. I called the girls, and they were older than me, but believe it or not, I was the one that was looking after them. I mean, they said to me, "You are our leader." So I said, "Girls, you know what? I think if I'm going to stay in Auschwitz, I'm going to go straight to the electric barbed wires. I don't want to live. But let's try to get away from here," because I heard rumors that they're taking people away from Auschwitz.